Getting some people starting to jump on now. I had a bit of technical difficulties. Well, not so much technical difficulties, probably more operator error in scheduling the live stream for tonight. Got it all scheduled. Everything was set to go. Couldn't work out how to start the stream that I'd scheduled. I'll have to look into that one. Yeah, not normally a live streamer, but you know, obviously you've got to learn the craft on YouTube. You can probably tell I'm sitting in the boat at the moment because I wanted to start off the live stream tonight talking about the boat, because tomorrow it starts its journey to become the camping, fishing, overnight machine that I hope that it's going to be when I drop it in tomorrow to get its new power plant fitted. I removed the boat came with a early 90s model 70 horsepower 2-stroke Mercury thing that I actually got to run for a very short period, but there's no point going out sort of on longer trips overnight and having a motor that you don't really trust, because you know it'll just get you into trouble. So hence why I gave that one the flick, and we've gone with a much more modern engine that is going to get fitted tomorrow. It's not here at the moment. I've got it all ready to go in there tomorrow, but I won't say too much about what it is and what it's going to do for me, but you'll definitely find out about that more in an upcoming video, which will be coming up within the next month or so. Speaking of videos coming up in the next couple of months, I've got quite a few loaded up, ready to go for the channel. I'm still going to go with my fortnightly upload schedule, because I think that's been sort of a good mix of regular sort of scheduled programming, as well as, you know, it seems the algorithm seems to like it for some reason, and I've been sort of interspersing in between that some reels and shorts on YouTube as well, just to keep it sort of motoring along, which is good. And I also want to throw in more sort of live streams to update as things progress, because there's a lot of stuff going on around the channel at the moment, which is really exciting in terms of ways to get out there camping and projects as well. Like, I've been smashing the projects lately, and it's really pleasing to see things developing around the channel, which is really good. Now, the reason I wanted to start off the live stream in the boat here is because I wanted to sort of explain a little bit about what it's hopefully going to do for the channel and do for us, not only as a family, but you know, myself as a YouTuber as well that does sort of camping related content. So what I was primarily going for in a boat was one that was a half cabin. So you can see this one obviously got a fairly large cabin space in there where you can sleep comfortably in there and still be covered up. This boat did come with a bit of a homemade bimini cover on the top, but it was pretty tattered and torn, and I'm going to replace it with a newer one as well, so you'll have plenty of undercover space to shelter from the elements, and in there will be the sleeping area as well. So the plan is to because it's like a V-berth here, the plan is to make a full sort of bed platform in there to give more space to sort of spread out, because these cushions are not very wide and I couldn't imagine that they'd be very comfortable to sleep on. So have a nice big bed platform in there with a nice sort of thicker mattress. You can actually get your feet up underneath the front there, and there's plenty of space to spread out. In terms of like enclosing the area, have you ever seen those magnetic fly screens that you can get that you can just push through and the magnets then automatically close it again? I thought that was a really cool idea. So what I'm thinking about doing is getting a set of those to sort of cover this like a bit of a curtain so that you can sleep in there obviously without concern about getting destroyed by mosquitoes. Obviously there's lots of mosquitoes around water, so that'd be a real concern if you're camping in this thing. So if I put one of those in, you can push through and push back out again without too much trouble, and be able to come and go as you please without getting destroyed by mozzies in there. It's also got a couple of cubbies up the front there, which would be cool to, put a phone or something in overnight, as a little side table. So I'm going to put some USB ports up there so you can charge phones and everything. And that leads me to the next modification, which is pretty major besides the engine, is, I'll grab the parts here, putting in a dual battery system, so an auxiliary battery that we can use to run all of the auxiliary stuff related to camping. So I've got a 25 amp DC to DC charger, and down there, I won't pick it up because it's rather heavy, is a slimline 120 amp hour AGM battery that I'm going to use to power all of the non-boat related electronics in here. So primarily, if you want to go out camping, we want to power a fridge, we want to power lights, we want to power charging ports for phones and things like that. Probably power for things like, what else? We might want to power fans because it could get quite hot camping out there. I've got LED light bars that we can put up the front just in case we need to move about at night time. At least we've got some light to shine out the front so we can navigate at night. And anything else that's associated with camping. Can't think of anything else off the top of my head. Oh, like say if you wanted to, we'll put a Bluetooth stereo in here as well, so you can play music and not have to worry about the starter battery going flat. Because I want to dedicate the starter battery in this just to starting the motor, and that is it. So we don't have to worry about our starter motor going flat and being stranded. And probably, a few ancillary things to do with the boat itself, maybe the depth sander and stuff like that, and the nav lights. So it'll only be those few things that are hooked up to that main starting battery, so that we don't run the risk of flattening the battery. Now, that reminds me too. The DC to DC charger that I've got can take input from an alternator as well as a solar panel. So I'm going to put a solar panel somewhere on the bow there. There's some nice big flat areas up there where we can put a solar panel. So, we can effectively stay out for even longer if we get some charge from the sun. And that will be nice. We've also got a few creature comforts along here too. So I've got a little porta potty in there, which we can use for those longer runs, which would be helpful. And also, what else are we doing? We're going to do a bit of an interior paint, bit of a clean up inside, and I'm going to put some marine carpet down just to make the deck less hot in the those hot summer days where the sun's beating down on as well. Plus, it'll be a bit more comfortable as well, especially for the little ones if they're out in the boat as well. But originally, I was going to actually paint the exterior of the boat, but I've had some boat professionals tell me that they reckon that the original clear coat could be buffed up and really bring back the original paint colour. So I'll probably try that, I think, to try and bring back that original colour, because the clear coat actually looks in fairly decent condition. It's just very grimy and old, so it needs a bit of work there. I've also got some ideas for, there's this nice big storage area underneath the captain's chair there, which I might sort of work out a better way of maximising that storage space, because it's just one big cavity in there. The thought was either to put a shelf in there or even sort of cut it out and have some sort of drawer system in there to really maximize that space. I thought that'd be pretty cool. Moving up to the dash, I've removed the trim switches, the control forward controls for the old motor are gone, ready for the new motor to go on tomorrow. But he's put this really cool switch panel in here, which has got a voltage monitor. It's got power outlets as well. That's kind of cool. And there's some extra sort of blank switches that we can use for other stuff as we do our upgrades to the electrical system in the boat as well, which would be pretty cool to use those switches for things like turning a stereo on or a depth sounder or extra lights or whatever it is. And we can use those. And this panel is obviously wired to the start battery, so we'll change it so that panel is wired to the auxiliary battery when we put it in. So I've just got to find a spot for that auxiliary battery to go, which balances out the weight, because the auxiliary battery weighs about 25 or 30 kilos, so it's fairly weighty. So I want to balance it out where we're not sort of listing to one side while we're going. So I want to keep a nice sort of level trim while we're underway. And I'm a bit reticent to stick it back down there with that battery as well, because it'll get quite heavy at that corner. I'd actually prefer, if I could, to install the auxiliary battery up the front of the boat somewhere, so we're nice and balanced in that direction, as well as, you know, controlling the pitch of the boat as we're moving along. That is about all I've got at the moment on the boat. But there's another project that I've been working on recently too, because we've got summer coming up. Hang on, just let me get out of the boat without killing myself. There is another project that I've been doing because summer's coming along, and we do like heading out in our old Chesney President caravan. That I've installed something very important in there, which my wife absolutely loves, and I'll show you right now. Let me get in here. Here we go. Oh, these little vent things probably give it away. I've installed an underbunk air conditioner in there. So this is a 9,000 BTU reverse cycle air conditioner that I bought from a company called Cool J. That is both heating and cooling, obviously, but I bought it with the special ducting packs. There's another duct up here as well, and this air conditioner is rated to cool a caravan of like 21 feet. So our miserly little 16-foot caravan will just absolutely love the air conditioner that we put in there. And it was super easy to install as well. I didn't have too much trouble at all. I did have to cut 2 holes in the floor and drill another hole for a condensation drain, but it was fairly easy to install. You just had to cut those 2 holes. One was for the drawing the air that gets drawn in and the air that exhausts out, that goes through the heat exchanger in the air conditioner, and they just had to fit through the floor. And then it's a matter of having a power point to plug it in and putting the ducts in. It was fairly straightforward, to be honest. The only thing is, though, they do recommend that you put some sort of guard underneath the chassis to protect the fins on the underside from rocks getting flicked up or any moisture that comes up off the road, obviously. So that's something that I've yet to do, which I really need to get onto, because in a few weeks' time, we're actually taking the caravan back out again to back to our yearly trip where we go to over to Yarrawonga for 4 or 5 days, which the kids really love. And yeah, so I've got to get that done. Obviously, we don't want to destroy our air conditioner before we even get to use it. Oh, while I'm here, there's the battery that I got as well. Not that you can see much through the cardboard, but it's a King's 120 amp hour slimline AGM battery. So yeah, they're pretty good for those sort of dual cab ute situations where you've got that space behind the seats, and you can stick the battery behind there if you're sort of limited with space. But I thought it would be good for this application as well. Plus, it was actually cheaper to buy the 120 amp hour slimline battery than it was to buy the 115 amp hour regular size battery, which wasn't an AGM, which was I forget what battery type it was, but yeah, I got a lot better deal buying that one than I did on the 115. So it was a bit of a no-brainer because Kings offer those sort of bundles that you can buy, like electrical bundles, where they'll sell you a DC to DC charger and a battery combo. And I found the combo that had the 25 amp DC to DC charger and the 115 amp hour battery, and it was like, I don't know, $450, and then he put postage on top of that, and you get up close to $500. But I went through their deals and I pieced together the charger and found that 120 amp hour battery, and it came up to $420 delivered. So just pays to sort of do a bit of shopping around there and working out whether the bundles you're getting are actually a good deal or not. So I'm super happy that I did that because it saved me probably about $100. Plus, I got an even better battery, and they even threw in a 50 amp wiring kit too. So that comes with, what does it come with? So it comes with an 8 gauge twin set of wires, which are 6 meters long, weatherproof maxi fuse holders, and a 50 amp connection. So that'll be good if I end up mounting the battery up the front of the boat. I'll be able to run the wiring up to there from the connections on the start battery, and we'll have plenty of distance in that cable to do that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, pretty stoked that. So I got all of that extra value for $100 less than what it would have been if I'd have bought that other combo. So, but there's other things I want to get yet that are on the list as well. Like I want to put in at least a 1500 watt inverter as well, so we've got 240 supply. And I want to make it so that that's removable because I might want to use it in the ute camper or use it in the caravan as well. So when we're off grid, we've got the ability to have 240 volt power. Because things like, we like taking the air fryer with us when we go away, or various other creature comforts that are really nice to have. So it'd be nice to have the ability to be able to use some of those things off grid. I don't know. Maybe, I wonder if it would power the air fryer 1500 watt. I'd have to look at the specs on our air fryer to work out whether it would power that. Another thing I want to take away too one time is we've got a Breville Barista Express coffee machine, which I really love. We use multiple times a day already. I would love to be able to take that away on a trip one time, even in the boat. That'd be awesome. So I think it's like 1600 watts. So that 1500 watt inverter probably wouldn't be able to run it. But I know they do a 3000 watt version as well. So I might look into that one and see what the price is on it, because if it's only a little bit extra to upgrade from 1500 to 3000, that seems like a no-brainer to me. I reckon, geez, you could even just about run an air conditioner off that. You wouldn't be able to run it for very long with limited battery size, but it'd be pretty sweet to be able to do that. And things like heaters and like milk frothers, anything that requires heat to operate would be handy to be able to operate that stuff if we had a decent inverter in there. And as I said, one that I can swap from machine to machine to machine, so I can take it anywhere. So I might have to make that sort of a plug and play setup with Anderson plugs perhaps, and see if that'll work. But I think that's the key. And that's the same with a lot of stuff that lot of camping gear that I've made it so it can move from place to place to place. Like the all-in-one diesel heater, that's something that I've set up that I can run in the caravan, or I can run in a tent, or I've even got ducting to run it in the back of the dual cab diagonal ute camper setup as well. I haven't used it yet, and obviously winter's finished now, so probably won't get an opportunity to do that until next year. But it's definitely something that I'm keen to do, rather than buying a setup for each camping machine that I have. If I have something that can be moved around in multiple things, obviously it's not going to cost you as much, and it has multiple uses. That's the thing I like. And it's the same with everything camping. Things usually have to have multiple uses. Obviously you've got to bring a lot more stuff with you otherwise. But look, I think I'm pretty close to where I was hoping to be with the live stream tonight, talking about stuff. So here's what the transom looks like without the old Mercury motor on it. There's quite a few mount holes that they'll have to fill in, because I've checked the pattern on the new motor and it's a little bit different. They might be able to use some of the original holes there, but and this was something I was a bit concerned about too, was what the transom was going to be like. Hang on, let's get another light on there. And I'm no boat mechanic or anything, but it doesn't seem like there's many issues there, but I'll let the professionals have a look at it this week and hopefully get it all set up. And hopefully, if all goes according to plan, we might even be able to do a test drive of this next weekend. And I may even do a live stream when that happens as well. So I'll definitely work out this scheduling thing and work out how to use it properly, so that when it does come time to test drive, I'll do a live stream on that if I've got service in the area where I'm test driving it, to bring you guys along as well, so that you can see the test drive and feel the power with me as well, and get the hair thrown back. Not that I've got much hair, but get the hair thrown back and go and open her up and see what it's like. And the kids are super excited about it too. So much so that they've named the boat Jeff. Now you might be thinking Jeff's a really dorky name. Why have they nicknamed it Jeff? Well, we bought the boat off a bloke called Jeff in Waganya, and the name just stuck from then. We just sort of temporarily, offhand said, "Oh, let's call the boat Jeff," and it's just stuck. So we've got Jeff the boat, and we've got Kenny the caravan. So the caravan's called Kenny because it's a Chesney. So Kenny Chesney, the famous country singer. So that's why he's called Kenny, and this is called Jeff now. So we may have to, once we've done the refurbishment of the clear coat, we may have to get a name badge to go on the side that says Jeff the boat. All right. Oh, hang on, real quick. Let me get back in the boat real quick. Getting back up to the front here. Excuse me, sorry about that. Still got the original Perspex windows. They're a bit crazed as well, and the rubber's a bit deteriorated. So I'm potentially looking at ways of replacing those windows. And I was wondering if I could replace it with a slider that has a Mozzie net, whatever it is. Stuff that stops mosquitoes from getting in, so you can get some airflow to come through. So it'd be awesome if we had a sliding window on both sides to get a bit of cross flow coming through, so that when you're in here, on a hot summer's evening, trying to sleep, you've got some airflow. I wonder if I could put in like a fan that sucks in, external air at least to bring a bit of airflow through here. You can open this up, which is the bow access hatch, but that's obviously going to let mosquitoes in that way as well, so you'll get destroyed that way too. But there's a lot to do in here. There's a lot of old sort of wiring for old lights and things that I'm going to pull out. So I'm pretty much going to go back and start from scratch with a lot of the stuff, like the old nav lights as well. They're pretty buggered. So I've ordered things like LED light bars to create that sort of under gunnel lighting as well. So you got that nice mood lighting or whatever it is, that you see on a lot of boats, and some lighting for in here, and even lighting that goes up underneath where the bimini is going to be. So you've got a nice overall light as well, which would be nice to have that sort of lighting. I did mention USB ports, so some for in here. There's already some up on the dash there, so that'll be handy. And I've got to try and find a solution for this magnetic fly screen as well. But I'm super excited about the plans going forward and these projects that we're working on, and the family's excited too. Louise is keen to get her boat license. The boys want to have a drive. They want to go out and hang out in the water and jump off the back and swim. And we might take kayaks with us, or work out a way where we can bring a kayak. Louise has the inflatable stand-up paddleboard, which would be pretty easy to bring. You just store it underneath the seats or something like that, and bring a compressor with you, and then you can just blow it up and head out in the water and things like that. Just go out cruising for the day. Maybe when the kids get a bit bigger too, we could get a ski tube and tow them along on the ski tube. They'll have a bit of fun doing that. But yeah, now in terms of videos I've got coming up, I've got a video for next Sunday where Tom and I went truck camping in the Diagonal dual cab ute camper setup down by the river last week. So that's coming out next week. And I've got a couple of project videos coming up. I might just leave them secret for now, and we'll just see how that goes. But I've definitely got a couple of months worth of content lined up between now and Christmas. So lots and lots and lots of things happening around the channel, and I'm finding it hard to sort of keep up with filming everything as it's happening, because there is a lot of stuff going on, which is why I've switched to using my phone to film a lot of stuff, because that last video that I filmed of our caravan trip to Kiama was all done on the phone, and it was just super easy and simple. And the phone has really good stabilization technology as well. So maybe I may switch to using the phone full time from now on. Just seems sensible. But I've still got all my other camera gear as well, but it's just a bit more cumbersome and harder to set up and heavier and everything as well. So if I can go sort of super simple and keep it simple and light, I will do that. Obviously I don't want to drain my battery on my phone and not be able to call if I'm in trouble though. But a couple of projects, and definitely more camping videos coming up between now and Christmas, getting into that real sort of peak season where camping is ideal. We have ideal weather conditions for it. So I'm going to get out there every opportunity I have. And as the kids get older, we're starting to see them come out with me more often as well. So they're really enjoying that too. And getting out in the caravan, obviously, with the kids, they really enjoy that too. I may or may not film the Yarrawonga trip, because it's the same one we do every year, and it rarely changes. And I have filmed it before, but we just go there just to relax, so not much really happens. It's probably not interesting to people, but I may sort of film aspects about how our new air conditioner performs, and technical stuff like that, and maybe do little YouTube shorts of those perhaps about how well those things go. But it's just hanging out at a caravan park. It's not really that interesting. So and hopefully we've got a couple of trips booked around Christmas time. There's something we're just sort of discussing with family about going away, and may or may not involve both the caravan, Kenny and Jeff, on the same trip. So that'd be cool to be able to use both of them at the same time. But we'll see how that goes. But I'm starting to ramble now. I've pretty much said everything I wanted to say. So thanks everyone for sticking with me, and thanks for everyone's comments and support lately. It's been super awesome to see people getting in around the channel. The channel's sort of accelerated in growth the last couple of months. And as I said earlier in this live stream, I must have the algorithm sort of sorted out in some way, shape, or form because, yeah, when I've gone to this sort of fortnightly upload schedule, the subscribers and watch time and all that sort of stuff started to grow. Hey, Brendan, how's it going, mate? Been talking to you a lot lately. Yeah, cheers. Thanks for the comment, mate. And I appreciate all your comments on my videos too, mate. Super nice to know that people appreciate the stuff that I'm doing and like watching my videos and yeah, like to just come and hang out. They're not the most polished of things, but I think they're kind of unique, especially like the dual cab diagonal ute camper. I've not seen that anywhere else, anywhere. So I think that's pretty unique, and you know, unique's the name of the game on YouTube, isn't it? To get noticed. So hopefully that'll be the same with this boat camper as well. It'll be pretty unique. I do follow a bloke in the States called Trip Smith, who's got like a lot bigger boat than this, but I think his videos were kind of a bit of an inspiration for me to create the boat camper and get out and do that. Ex-pussers can be trusted. Oh, I don't know. I'm an ex-raffy, mate. I can't trust them pussers, but yeah, his video's been a big inspiration for me to want to get into this type of setup and yeah, because I used to love fishing. I used to go fishing all the time, and the last year and a half, I've done no fishing whatsoever. And I guess it probably comes when you have kids as well, that you know, you've got to kind of prioritize your time, and yeah, things just sort of get put on the back burner. And I don't know, if you're a parent, you'd probably know this already, but fishing with kids is super frustrating. When we were in Queensland last year, we went fishing, and I got everyone's rods rigged up, and they got them all in the water. I finally got to start rigging my rod up. Dad, mine's snagged. Dad, mine's my bait's come off. You know, I think I got my rod in the water for about 5 minutes and just got super frustrated with it and just went, no, that's enough. So if I can create opportunities for myself to go fishing, perhaps, because one of the plans I have, as some of you might have seen in previous videos, where I live is sort of prime Murray cod country, and every year the Murray cod season opens on the 1st of December. So I have this plan, hopefully this boat camp is all ready to go by then, of going out and like fishing all night on cod opening, and just, you know, just sleep in there, have the rod set up with bells on them, and you know, if you hear the bells, you can just jump up and grab them straight away. So that's a plan that I have. Hopefully that that comes off, that I can stay at, especially even if you know, you go out on November the 30th and it's not cod season yet, but as soon as it ticks over midnight, you can throw your lines in and start fishing for cod. So if that situation arises, I'll go out the night before and camp and wake up at midnight and start fishing. So that should be interesting as well. And yeah, that's the whole reason I want to do this, so that you can sort of get away from the heavily fished areas, obviously, where people do a lot of land-based fishing, and fish out of the boat and just, you know, have it all set up. So like, you've got music, you've got a fridge, you know, I'll be able to put the fridge that's there, that'll run off the power supply. So you've got food, you've got drinks, you know, music. If you've got an inverter, you could bring a bloody TV and plug the phone in and watch Netflix or whatever and just chill out while you're waiting for the bells to ring. That'd be awesome. It'd be like taking your little home with you to go fishing and having all the mod cons and everything, you know, as I said, a toilet and everything as well. Hey mate, can't wait to see you and your little ones out in the boat fishing. Yeah, I know. It'll be interesting. But this boat's rated for 5 people. So, and again, another one of the reasons why I wanted to get a cabin boat is so, you know, the kids have got some undercover area to stay out of the sun and stay cool. And, you know, if they want to have a sleep, go and have a lay down, then go and have a lay down in bed and just chill out. And, you know, like I said, we could bring the TV and you could set the TV up in there and they could watch Netflix while we're out fishing. And then we get to stay out longer because the kids aren't moaning that they're bored. I want to go home. I'm bored. That we can entertain them, or they can just go and have a rest in there, and we can just hang out and just cruise along, with a reliable engine as well. You can get bells and lights. Yes, I have seen the bells and lights on. And have you seen the? You can even get electronic buzzers now that it hooks onto the shaft of your rod, and you just put the line over it, and when it tugs, it pulls the little switch, and that sets the buzzer off. And I did have some, but I don't know. I've lost them, and I need to get some new ones because I thought they were a lot better than bells and a lot easier to use. Because obviously, when you hook a fish and you've got the bell going nuts on the end of the rod, and you try and reel it in, and the bloody bell's going off and getting tangled in your line. Those little buzzer ones they're mounted right down by the reel, and it's just the line going over this like little hook switch. So as soon as the buzzer's going off, you can just flick it off that, and then really fish in and not have to worry about the bloody bell going nuts and things getting tangled around it as well. So I've got to get some more of those, I reckon. And if I'm going to get back into the fishing this year, I think that's a must. And I really need to do some maintenance on my fishing gear too, because it's sat in the shed for the last 18 months getting moved around and destroyed and everything. So I'll do a bit of maintenance on those prior to the cod opening season before we get out there as well. And but I'll need to do some shakedown trips of the boat setup before I go out for that as well, just to understand like what sort of range we've got with the motor, and work out a few little kinks if there is any. If we do a test drive, and we can work out a few of the kinks if there's any, and really get it set up for that sort of camping. Because if any of you know what it's like out there in summertime, in the evening on the water, you would just absolutely get destroyed with mosquitoes. I even had this idea too. When I originally got the boat, the bloke who sold it to me had made like a custom sort of full length bimini that went right back to the transom, and I've actually got one of those awning tents, but it's a fly mesh, not like a canvas wall. And I was wondering if I could put like the fly screen around the base of that bimini, so that the whole entire cockpit area of the boat was enclosed with fly mesh, so that you could get up here and move around without being attacked by mosquitoes. Because I really hate putting mosquito repellent on. Like, you get into bed and you're all just greasy and just feel disgusting. So I hate putting that stuff on. Plus it's super friggin' toxic as well. So if you could be out there in the water, not have to wear repellent, and sort of be enclosed from mozzies, would be awesome. But I think I'm getting it super complicated. We might have to just try and keep it as simple as possible to start with. And, as we do more trips, we can sort of figure out what works and what doesn't work, and, keep it simple. Obviously, don't want the boat to be too heavy as well, especially with, 4 people on it, and a fridge and batteries and food and drinks and everything else that comes with taking kids somewhere. So, we'll do some shakedown trips and work out what works and what doesn't work, and we'll refine it. And then when we go for those sort of longer trips, like an overnighter and that sort of thing, we'll have it all dialed in nicely. Things like carpet and the bed platform. We'll have to get all that sort of stuff dialed in, and our storage where we keep things as well, because it's nothing worse when you're out in a boat and you've got stuff stored on the deck and you're just tripping over things all the time. I mean, this boat's got cool little storage pockets, under the captain's chair, stuff under the bunks up the front. So we should be able to have a place for everything, so that we're not tripping over stuff all the time, because that would just be painful, especially with kids on the boat. We have kids bumble around as well, and they'll trip over everything, and there's things poking out of the walls that they can crack their head open on. So we just want to try and keep everything neatly sort of buttoned up and stowed away, so that we don't have those issues. But anyway, as I said before, I'm rambling again. I've gone on for another 10 minutes again. So once again, apologies for the live stream. Lots of USB plugs to keep the kids happy. Yeah, I did mention that. I've got some ordered, and I've already got some here too. So I'm going to have some up the front there for when you're in bed. There's some already up there. I'll probably put some extra ones over there, so charge the phones, do all that sort of stuff. There's plenty of power supply available, but yeah, definitely my brain's going a million miles an hour, figuring out the possibilities. Have your kids been on boats before? Not really. They're familiar with like kayaks and canoes, but so they know you just sit still when you're underway and all that sort of stuff. But this sort of boat, no. And my oldest is absolutely infatuated with everything maritime. Like his favorite topic is the Titanic. So it'd be interesting to see how he goes on an actual boat as opposed to knowing everything there is to know about the Titanic. We're going to take him to the National Maritime Museum early next year, so his mind is sufficiently blown, let me tell you, because I told him about the HMS Vampire and all of the stuff there, and he's like, "Oh, is it going to be Titanic stuff?" He's super keen, and then his question always works its way back to, "Is there a souvenir shop?" He's always got to go to the souvenir shop at the end, because it's like museums have to have souvenir shops so that you can get something. Because we went to the Historical Aircraft Restoration Society Museum up near Kiama, and his first thing is, "Dad, where's the souvenir shop?" So obviously we paid a trip there and he got his souvenirs. So that's all right. It's good for the kids to have something, a little memento. So he was excited about seeing the planes. He was probably the second most excited behind his father. So guys that'll know me around the channel know that I've got a bit of a history in the aviation industry, being in the RAF and working for all the defence contractors and on the Boeing and Qantas and even working at the airport here, restoring antique and older military aircraft. My wife has been dragged along to many a museum. I actually took her along to the Davis Monthan Boneyard in Arizona several years ago before we had kids, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know the museum." And then she got there and she's like, "This place is freaking amazing! Like, there's just aircraft as far as the eye can see, and there's, just so many different kinds." And she was like, "Okay, yeah, I get it." And I took her to Cape Canaveral as well, and she was like, "Oh, another museum, it's going to be boring." But she's like, "Oh, this is awesome, pretty interesting place." Yeah, you've seen all the crash site hiking videos. I've kind of run out of them. I need to sort of start going a bit further afield to find more crash sites, which is a bit hard when you've got young kids to be able to travel, long distances on your own without kids and not get in trouble with the missus. But one thing that's on my bucket list that I really want to do one day, that would make an awesome video, is going out to Ground Zero at Maralinga and Emu Fields out in South Australia. I'd love to go and see those sites. Can't obviously make a road trip and camp out there and see the sites where the nuclear weapons tests were conducted in Australia. That's like a big bucket list thing for me. But I've got a ton of aircraft crash sites mapped that I'd love to hike to, but they're a long driveway. Like there's a Lincoln bomber that crashed just on the New South Wales Queensland border, which has a massive wreckage sort of intact there, because it's up on the side of is it Mount what's the mountain called, Mount Erebus? Anyway, I think it's the tallest mountain in Queensland, or one of the tallest mountains in Queensland, and there's so much of the wreckage there. There's engines still there, like massive part of the fuselage, that I'd love to go and hike. And also, there's a few down south here in Victoria that I'd love to go and find as well, that have been sort of lost for many years. There's a there's a bomber that crashed just to the northwest of Lilydale. Oh, your granddad served at Maralinga. Oh, that's cool. That'd be an interesting story to talk about as well. I always like to give, when I do these crash site videos and that, I'll always like to give a bit of an insight into the people that were involved as well. That kind of helps to tell the story a little bit. So that'd be interesting. Where was I? Talking about, there's a bomber, down near Lilydale, just sort of northwest of Melbourne, that that I haven't been able to find a lot of information about where the crash site is. And by all accounts, when that aircraft crashed, there was a fair bit of debris left, but there was some ordnance on board that exploded and made a complete mess of the crash site. But I haven't been able to find any information about it, so it seems like it hasn't been visited for a long time. And there's also another aircraft not far from that location up in the Toolangi State Forest called a Republic Lancer, which was a photo reconnaissance aircraft that crashed up there. And there's even a track called Aeroplane Track or something that's named after the aircraft, obviously up in the forest there where it crashed. So it'd be interesting to go and see if we can find that one too. But again, like the logistics of working out how to get to those ones are pretty large, considering the distance to travel, and and then obviously the time that's required to hike into those sites. And so it'd be like a couple of day trip just to go and visit one site from here. So maybe when the kids are older, I might be able to get an opportunity to go a bit further afield, and maybe even do like one trip where I take in quite a few crash sites at once and make several videos of it, as well as doing the camping in between. Like the first one couple of ones I did, like I'd go out and camp, and then the next morning you'd hike out to the camps to the crash site, so that it's more than just a camping video where you go out camping every time. I try and incorporate like a topic of interest to go out and do with the camping as well, so it's not just me camping all the time, but just in a different spot each time. So you go camping and then you go and look at something interesting. So that's what I'm aiming to do, like a little bit of a twist obviously on camping and going to look at something interesting. But I want it to be more than just like aircraft stuff. Like obviously I've incorporated the rail stuff in the last year or so, doing those rail hikes, which are thoroughly interesting. And I was aware of my family history in the rail industry, but I wasn't aware that it was quite extensive. Like my great grandfather was a very well revered man in the Victorian Railways all those years ago. Like he started pre World War One, and then he had a massive career in the rail industry in Victoria. And from all accounts, and all the people, the rail fans that I've spoken to know of him and said that he was quite well respected. So that was cool to learn about that in the process of becoming interested in abandoned railways and that sort of stuff. So I learned a bit about myself in the process. Yeah, it was an awesome vid. Very interesting. Thanks, Darren. I feel like I'm getting a little bit better in telling the stories. A lot of it requires a bit of research ahead of time and trying to work out a storyline before I go to a site to be able to tell it properly, I guess. Otherwise, I'm then relying a lot on voiceovers in post-editing to sort of tell the story, which I think sort of depersonalize it. If you're telling the story while you're actually out there pointing the things out and you know a bit about it, I think it makes the story far more interesting. Like when I did that rail hike over in Rushworth, and that was the line that my great-grandfather started on, and I knew a little bit about it, but it wasn't until I got back and researched a bit more, because I stopped at Murchison, where my family's actually, that's my family's traditional home in Victoria, and saw all the names on the war memorial there. Like, you sort of start to delve deeply into the history there, and I wish I'd known more before I went, because I'd be able to tell a story on the spot rather than the voiceovers I did in post that sort of didn't do it justice, I guess. Look, I reckon I like to think I'm getting better at the storytelling side of things, and I want to try and improve how that comes through in the video editing as well. So I'll do my best. And if you're trying to upload content every fortnight, and obviously you've got a full-time job and you're a parent and you've got all these other time pressures on you, that trying to put out a quality video that requires hours and hours and hours of editing is difficult. But yeah, I like to think my editing abilities have improved a little bit on, and I've actually tried to simplify it a little bit. I really love doing really complex edits that incorporate music to try and sort of create atmosphere and that sort of thing. But I find like a lot of the larger sort of camping YouTube channels just launch straight into it. There's no music, no fancy edit cuts. They just get straight into it, and part of me wants to sort of keep true to myself and true to the edits that I enjoy and the story that I like to tell. But part of me wants to sort of try and grow the channel a little bit as well, and um, create the edits that obviously people enjoy. So, there's the artistic element, and then there's the element that sells. So, well, I'll try and balance it, but it's always good to try new things as well to see how that works, and you never know, you might enjoy it. So, be interesting, like especially with this project here, the boat. I'll see if I can put camera mounts around and get like cool angles and that sort of stuff, and get lots of like good B-roll footage as well that helps to tell the story. And if I've got the time, you can launch the drone and get some like cool shots, which that setting up shots like that takes a lot to set up. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that, Darren. Yeah, it's good. It's cool to see. Like, I don't think I've ever had this many people on a live stream before. So I appreciate everyone for stopping by. So once again, sorry about the the scheduling thing, because I'm sure people clicked the link and were sitting there going, "Where is he?" And then I've started this completely different live stream. That's my bad, and I've got to get better at it if I'm going to do sort of more live streams, and use these to be like sort of little update things and answer questions as well, and interact with you guys directly, which is awesome fun. I appreciate it, because I seem to have got a lot of long time sort of subscribers now that tend to comment regularly, and I really appreciate that, and I feel like I'm getting to know you guys more on a personal level, and it's awesome to get your feedback, and you guys sort of, I feel like you ride along with me as well, and I really appreciate that, and people coming back. Obviously, that's what you want. You want people to subscribe, but you want them to be there to come back and time again and hang out and watch videos. And my motivations for doing this are still because doing the videos, I love the editing aspect of it as well, but that actually gets me out more often as well. They sort of like lift each other up. The fact that I love making videos and I love camping, and they sort of both like pull each other up by the bootstraps. So, once the trip's over, the enjoyment doesn't stop. I get to go into the editing process then, which I really, really love that. So it kind of extends the enjoyment of the trip, like for the next couple of weeks while you're editing the video. It's awesome. I love it. I'm sure my wife loves me sitting on the computer over night time and not talking to her. So yeah, that's something that you've got to balance, obviously. And the kids really love watching the videos. The trip we did to Queensland last year, where I made about half a dozen videos of that trip that were more sort of vlog style. And I reckon me and the kids have gone back to watch those videos probably 10, 20 times. I reckon they love them. And especially the videos they're in, they get to go back and watch those videos. And I guess it's sort of be like a time capsule for our family as well, because especially with the kids coming along on a lot of the trips now, in years to come, we'll be able to go back and watch those videos and remember what it was like when we were when the kids were young. Yeah, you're right, Darren. A fishing, camping, hike is the best feeling, and just relaxing. And you raise an interesting point too, because part of me wants to also be in it in the moment. I use Power Director as well. Part of me wants to be in the moment and like enjoy the trip, but I also want to film it so I get that enjoyment later on as well with the editing process. And I know this might sound a bit self-serving, but I actually enjoy watching my videos. I wouldn't, if I didn't enjoy making them, I wouldn't make them. I don't think. Especially if you make them for other people's taste. I think you kind of got to stay true to yourself a little bit, I reckon, in this YouTube business. And sometimes it might not be everyone's cup of tea. And I guess if you're in it for the reasons of making a career and that sort of thing, do what the people want. But I could kind of feel like that would burn you out a little bit if you're making stuff for other people's enjoyment, not for your own. Like I make YouTube videos for my own enjoyment first and foremost, and if other people like to watch them as well, that's awesome. I know my kids like to watch them, but yeah, I I really get so much enjoyment out of the entire process, and it makes me feel good, even if my kids want to watch them as well. And we're going to enjoy those for years to come too. So hopefully, YouTube doesn't fall over and we lose them all. I've got them all backed up to a hard drive, but it's not the same because the kids know how to use phones now, and they can just go in and pull up the video whenever they want and watch it. It's awesome. They've got special nicknames for all of the videos they like. The one we did at Easter a couple of years ago with a family camp, they called the chaos video because at the end of it, we have the Easter Sunday egg hunt, and it's absolute chaos with kids going everywhere. So let's watch a chaos video, Dad. We want to watch a chaos. So I'll go and watch that, and they'll giggle and laugh all the way through, and they'll say, "Oh, this is the bit. The bit's coming up, Dad. The bit's coming up. Our favourite bit." And it's really fun to watch that. They've watched it so many times that they know the video off by heart, and they enjoy it that much that they want to keep rewatching it. And that probably gives me the most enjoyment out of this whole process, is that my own kids like watching the videos. So that kind of makes me proud as a dad as well as a YouTuber as well. So anyway, this is the last time I'm going to say it. I said I was rambling before, so I'm going to end it here because we're nearly at an hour. But I really want to extend my thanks to everyone that jumped on tonight, because I know there's some real sort of long-time followers out there that have been with me for a long time. So thumbs up to everyone, and I appreciate you guys hanging out. And keep an eye out for this thing, that thing, and every other thing that I've got coming up over the next few months, because I'm going to be busy. All right, guys. Now, there's a bloke out there, Andrew, who gets annoyed when I say peace out all the time. And Andrew's a mate of mine who works with my wife. So I'm going to say peace out, Andrew.